Transhumanism fills people's minds with hopes and dreams of becoming superhuman, but the fact of the matter is that the true goal is the removal of that pesky human sexual urge, and ultimately, of free will itself. Post-humanity will be a new human which has been genetically engineered and brain-chipped for total control. Julian Huxley couldn't have said it better himself, but let's not forget Julian's brother, Aldous Huxley, author of Doors of Perception and A Brave New World. In 1962, he gave a lecture at the UC Berkeley, in which he clearly laid out the vision of this planned future society.
In the past, we can say that all revolutions have essentially aimed at changing the environment in order to change the individual. Today, we are faced, I think, with the approach of what may be called the ultimate revolution, the final revolution, where a man can act directly on the mind-body of his fellows. The nature of the ultimate revolution with which we are now faced is precisely this, that we are in process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy, who have always existed and presumably always will exist, to get people actually to love their servitude. This is seems to me the ultimate in malevolent revolution, shall we say. First of all, to standardize the population, to iron out inconvenient human differences, to create, so to say, mass-produced models of human beings arranged in some kind of a scientific caste system. A number of the predictions which were purely fantastic when I made them 30 years ago have come true or seem in process of coming true, not through terror, but through making life seem much more enjoyable than it normally does. Enjoyable to the point where, as I've said before, human beings come to love a state of things which by any reasonable and decent human standard they ought not to love. And this, I think, is perfectly possible. One of the more recent developments in the sphere of neurology, the implantation of electrodes in the brain. This, of course, has been done on a large scale. The behavior of rats with electrodes planted in different centers. The technique was that they had a bar which they pressed and which stimulated this pleasure center, which was evidently absolutely ecstatic, because these rats were pressing the bar 18,000 times a day. Apparently, if you kept them from pressing the bar for a day, they would press the bar 36,000 times on the following day and would fall till they fell down in complete exhaustion. And they would neither eat nor be interested in the opposite sex and would just go on pressing this bar. In the few cases in which this has been done with very sick human beings, the effects are evidently very remarkable. These people were suffering from the uncontrollable depression. And they'd had the electrodes inserted into something resembling, evidently, the pleasure center of the rat. When they felt too bad, they just pressed a button on the battery in their pocket. And he said the result was fantastic. The sort of things that might happen. I mean, what might happen if these fantastically powerful techniques were used by unscrupulous people in authority? What on earth would happen? What sort of society would we get?